Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Operation Status Quo here on a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Get your hands up. Get your hands up. How we doing out there? How you guys feeling? I don't know. I'm just going to sit here and wait until you tell me how you're feeling. I'm just kidding around. If I did that, we'd be here a long time. I'd fall asleep sitting at the microphone, right? But anyway, how we doing out there, ladies and gentlemen? I love you guys. I hope you're having a great day, as always, because every day's a beautiful day. You know, I like to say that. And when we're back here together on Operation Status Quo, that makes for a beautiful day as well. So I'm happy to have you here, and I am happy to be here. And who am I? If you are not aware, I am P. Palma. I am your user-friendly host broadcasting live from the comfy confines of my very own home. What a wonderful thing to be able to do that, right? When you think about it, back in the day, if you ever wanted to work in any kind of media, you had to go to either a television station or a radio station or someplace where they can broadcast. But now you can do that right from the comfort of your own home, and any schlep, just like myself, can come on here and boast all the crap they want to boast. So anyway, what am I talking about? I am P. Palma. This is Operation Status Quo. Of course, this is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So I hope you're doing that for yourself out there. I hope you're just soaking it in, seeing what's going on in the world, realizing, and not to take everything too seriously, realizing that there are forces at play that are meant to keep us in fear and away from our best selves, right? And just always that little, you don't have to be mad about it. We don't have to be over the top about it, but we realize it. And then that's why we just create our own flow of quo, That's what you got to do. Instead of getting agitated and, feeling disempowered, you empower yourself to do what's best for you, and you live the life that that resonates with where you are in your journey, whatever that may be. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 6th of December in the good year 2023, and today's program is entitled Save the Humans. Yeah, the humans can use some saving in a multitude of facets. That title can really relate to just about anything that's going on in our world today, but I was kind of intrigued on two fronts. First, when I first was going to talk about this, and I had this idea really, for a couple days or last week or whatever, and I wasn't sure if I really wanted to get into it because I wanted to kind of mention about, abortion and stuff, and I know it's a very touchy subject, obviously, and but I realized I kind of then what really tied it into what I'm talking about today is I never heard of this. I guess I'm behind the curve, whatever. I don't pay attention to a lot of mainstream stuff, but I guess there's a lot of these, videos that are circulating on TikTok or whatnot. I don't have TikTok. Maybe I should. Maybe I should start a TikTok channel, so that I can put some of these videos out there and maybe, get some people to see if that young generation is interested in what I'm doing. But anyway, so there's some of these videos that have been going around, I guess, on TikTok called with the Dinks, the D-I-N-K. These are people that are, I think it's called, I looked it up because I wasn't even sure what it stood for, but it is, for those of you that don't know, a Dink is the abbreviation for a dual or double, could be dual or double income with no kids. So it's a couple, like a couple, each of them have an income and they have no kids. So Dink, D-I-N-K, dual income, no kids, right? And they're showing these videos of, how much they're enjoying their life, not having any kids, and, how they can use their discretionary income or whatever to, buy their, Starbucks lattes and such. And, they don't have to worry about, taking care of kids or any of that. They can come and go as they please. I mean, you know how it is. If you have kids, it's just like having pets or whatever, right? You got to take care of, the younglings, as it were. But these people are boasting and proud that they don't have kids and that they don't want kids. And on top of it, I think a lot of these younger people too are actually getting vasectomies or their tubes tied and things like that at a young age to prevent themselves from ever having kids, which I don't know if you should make that decision in your early years. I mean, it's a crazy thing, right? To say a 20-something years old, you decide I'm never going to reproduce and you get a surgery to make that happen. And then maybe 10 years later, you decide you do want kids. I mean, it's really, I would never do anything. This is how I feel about plastic surgery and all too. I'm not interested in any of that kind of crap. I'm not interested interested in, manipulating my body away from like how it was designed to function normally on its own. So I don't understand when people do all that stuff or whatever. I guess I can understand in a family situation, maybe if you already have 3-4 kids and you don't want to get pregnant again or something, so you do something, but there's still ways to make that not happen without, manipulating the structures of your body. So this led me to thinking more so about how, this whole agenda of, depopulation is part of everything that's been going on. I mean, the whole facet of everything that's happening in our world today. Let me see if I can take it a step back to, put it in perspective. Even before COVID really came out and really started waking people up to different ideas and thoughts and such. Prior to that, there's this globalization has been going on for, a long period of time. There's plans in place. I mean, you can look up the, whatever, Agenda 2024 it was, and then Agenda 2030, whatever, and they have all the ideas in mind of people not owning anything, people living in smaller, dwellings that are all like encapsulated in the 15-minute cities or whatever, all this crap that they're trying to do to get everybody kind of just, isolated in certain areas and kept, and I realize, part of it too is like, Bill Gates and all his bullshit, right? They're always all these crazy kooks are talking about we got to get rid of, millions of people, billions really. We have to bring the population down to 1 billion or something on the earth. And, so that's a lot of people to have to wipe out, but they're doing a great job. I mean, they started with the poison jab, so they're working on all that little ways here and there, but, the poison food, the poison jab, the shit they spray in the air, everything that they do, your products, your body products, your makeups, your shampoos, your soaps and everything, all crap, the materials, sometimes the materials in your clothes, everything's a little bit of, poison just to, dumb down the population and kill people off little by little. But so to tie these two things in with the abortion and the dinks, it's such a goofy word, right? Dinks. It's like, can't believe it's like even a trend that and you think about it, this is what I'm saying. It's like promoted as like this cool thing, like, hey, we don't have kids and we're getting our tubes tied and, we're free and all this kind of thing. And, it's deeper than that. A person's choice to have a child is obviously, their choice. You have a child or you don't have a child. I'm not saying one way or the other, but there's this like agenda, this again, how the mainstream does this programming that they do. It's always a series of programming to get people to, think a certain way to create a structure of society that, everybody jumps on the bandwagon, right? Because they don't want to be, that's the trend. They create the trends, and then people generally aren't bright enough to, kind of look at the information in all ways, and they just kind of want to be cool and go whatever the trend is. You're growing up, you're younger. This is the common thing, and on top of it, they've made the world so horrible between, just everything, crime, wars, economy, everything, horrible educational system and such, that, people don't even want to bring kids into the world, right? Or like they look around and say, geez, I mean, all this strife is going on. It's always this, that, and the other. I don't even want to bring kids into this world. And that's all part of the programming, right? Because if they can stop us from having babies and reproducing, then it's less people that they have to control. And if they start to control the means of reproduction down the line, which they probably would do some sort of, God knows with the technology today, I'm sure you don't even have to, they probably can put it in some sort of virtual womb or something. Who the frig knows, what they would do, kind of moving down the path. But abortion obviously is a little different because I understand. This is where I think it all gets muddled, in a sense. I would be first and foremost, everybody has the right to do whatever they want to do. And I'm not against, I'm not for it. I'm not against it. Let's put it that way as far as abortion goes. To me, it's a very serious thing and a serious decision, to make. The thing that I really get out of it the most is I never understand why, just the programming of our society leads people to think that it's not like a big deal, and the way they portray it on the news and the way these people, these kookadoos that are, screaming for their reproductive rights and such, it shouldn't even be like a question. I'm just saying, of course it's your body. Of course, if something is a reason to not continue the pregnancy. You do what you have to do in a sense, but I don't think it should be so frivolous as if like, you're throwing away an old pair of socks. Oh, my sock's got a hole in it, so I throw the socks away. I mean, it's such a disposable society, and we're so shallow in our ways of doing things that that's what I really feel it comes down to. Like, not for anything, we're like, go out, party, immediate gratification, self gratification, immediate gratification, or whatever you want to say, type of society that, people don't even have like the depth of character to understand what it means to, have a child and what it actually means even to get pregnant and such, and I'm not like, I know it gets really over the top with the religious side of things, and they're just like, no abortion, or, all, no matter what. I mean, I do think there's situations that warrant it, but I also think that it shouldn't be one of those things where, it's just, I went out on Friday night and, oops, I made a little mistake, but no big deal. We just, suck this thing out of here. Somebody grab the hanger. Let's get this thing out of here, and I just think our world has gotten, and it's not even, and then it gets, like I say, let me slow down because I'm getting too many thoughts at once, but it gets wrapped up into this thing of a person's, freedom of choice, and the whole thing that went on with the Supreme Court and such. So, let's just clear it up. It's not a concept. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it or it's bad. I want to give everybody a fair shake because everybody's situation is different. Every life path is different, and everything happens for a reason the way it's meant to happen. But I would love to see people, be more, show more reverence towards this topic in a sense of, instead of just pounding, your fists on the table and walking around with picket signs talking about, your reproductive rights and how it's an atrocity to women's health care and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the bottom line is, the Constitution of this country, there's nothing in there about, people's right for abortion. That's why the Supreme Court, I know everybody hates the Supreme Court and thinks like they're evil for, overturning Roe versus Wade. But, the honest truth is there's nothing in the Constitution that provides that information. Like you have a right to an abortion. But it's clearly said that it's not to say that it can't be done. It's up for the individual states to, to make that decision. So, I mean, like, why are we getting all, up in an uproar about everything? I just saying like it should be, again, if we were just a different way of thinking, it wouldn't even be this type of contentious issue where everybody's like looking to, cause all this social upheaval and argument and such, right? Because, again, I always talk about this. There's nothing good or bad. There's nothing right or wrong. Everything is, everything is a projection of what's inside you, and everything that happens in your life is part of a path that is chosen for, a greater good of learning and such. So, you know what I mean? And we take it too serious of saying what we should and shouldn't do. And it's not, and again, I know I'm getting deep on explaining all this about abortion. And again, I'm not talking about one or the other. I'm just talking about everybody fighting over it, number one. And I can't personally understand why people are so anxious like to be able to go have like abortions at any whim or something. I just don't even understand that. I mean, you even if you decide it's a decision you're going to make, it should be like a difficult decision, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, you do know that, I don't care what people say about, it's not a lot of life until it's born or after this so many months, or come on, let's just be real. Once it starts, the sperm and the egg, boop, boop, they connect, it starts, right? I just mean that's the, it might take a long time to become the full human, but I mean, our whole life like starts there, right? Until you get old and fade away and die. It's part of the whole process of the life. It starts like this with a couple cells, and then it creates until you're some old cantankerous fool that is sleeping in the chair drooling on yourself. I mean, it's just part of the nature of what it is. And I don't understand why humanity as a whole, I mean, I do understand why, because of the programming of our mainstream culture and the shallowness and materialistic nature of how we've been taught for these generations. But I know people have to know this inside on their own, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, I mean, and the thing too about it that always gets me, with the reproductive rights and all, it's like, yeah, of course. But at the same time, like, you should have responsibility for your body. You just don't go out and like, bang a bunch of people. And, I'm just saying, like, I'm older a little bit, so maybe I think different. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I know things can happen, and, you don't think straight and all, but that's how we should be taught this stuff, from a young age, right? We should be taught from the beginning what it really means to engage, not only just to have sex with someone, right? I mean, because, when you engage with somebody in an intimate way, there's also an exchange of energy. There's a lot that's going on that's higher level, and we treat this act and this behavior as just like a fun thing to do, to go out and hook up and get some, and then people wind up getting pregnant, and then they're like, oh shit, well, I'm a little busy, so now we're going to kill this kid. So I just don't. I don't comprehend the level of how easy it is to dismiss, life in a sense, right? It perplexes me in a way, and more so just how angry people get over this topic. I mean, I would love your feedback out there. I know I'm not a woman, you know what I mean? So, well, maybe who the frig knows? Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I could be. If I was a woman, I probably think I'd be a pretty one, or would I be ugly? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. Oh my gosh. Hello. Heyo. So yeah, anyway, that's the thought process I'm just trying to get through here today is like, abortion, obviously it's been something that's been for such a long time, and it's been a big issue years and years and years. But think about how that's viewed as like, no big deal, we should just be able to do it. I kind of don't understand, like, why humanity, like, I'm saying we're human beings. Like, you wouldn't treat maybe some people would, like, you wouldn't treat an animal or something this way. And like we look at it as just like another product, or I don't know. It's just so weird to me. Like, we're love, we're humans. Why would we not want to, care for and show as much love as we can to fellow life in this world, so, and again, it's not to say that there's not a situation that warrants this happening. I mean, I get it, somebody's raped, or I mean, there's a lot of things, I mean, it could be something too where you already have a bunch of kids and you don't want another kid, and I just mean, like, I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't. I'm not saying anything about what anybody should or shouldn't do. I'm not saying anything that, people shouldn't have, rights to choose what they do, how they do with their body. But as a collective, humanity, I feel we should have a greater, appreciation, respect, reverence for, what that really means, like what it really means, like to, having a child, or like, what it really means to take the life. And, I'm just saying, like, because even doing that, is creates a karmic energy in a sense. So, do you want that on your shoulders? And then on top of it, so the abortion thing goes, right. And that's always been, and, people fight their rights, and they believe they should be able, Planned Parenthood and all that crap, and, and then it leads into this younger culture generation, coming up that, they don't even want kids at all, right? So they start having like some surgeries and shit to, prevent that in their young, and they're proud of not having kids, and I get it. It's a lot to have kids, and I'm not saying everybody should have kids, but, I mean, just think about, like, I mean, it's the legacy of your life. The biggest thing that you probably would ever have as a legacy of your life would be your children, and, having the ability to, I mean, you as an individual, each of us as an individual, if you have a child, I mean, you're the one, like, sharing that next level of information with this next human that's going to come up and live in the world. I mean, it's a big responsibility. I think I just answered my own question by saying that our society today, nobody wants any responsibility, right? They want to sit, they want to play their video games, they want to watch Netflix, they want to do whatever, they want to go to Starbucks. They just want to. Everybody's like selfish and self-consumed with products and distractions of media, whether it be sports, movies, everything, all that stuff, and that no one wants to put any effort into anything, because I give credence to the fact that, society's been, programmed this way. But at the same time, listen, there's a lot of people out there that know things are being programmed and still, work their way around it. Just like I say here, create your own flow of quo, I mean, so like I realize it, other people realize it. So, we should, we should be, trying to express those ideas and bring people together to think in a higher way. I mean, again, this is not about what you should or shouldn't do, what your rights are for your body, blah, 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 blah. I'm not getting into, all that. I'm just getting into the very concept of like, what it means to, to seriously conceive a life. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about the majesty of that gift as us of humans, that two people can come together and create another life. And it's just a really kind of, when you look at it deeper that way, why do we not have reverence? Like, why are these like crazy, and the people they show on TV, obviously because it's the news and everything else, that are complaining and crying, it's always these really crazy, out there in space, just freaking people. I can't even, I wanted to say like really left dopes, but I don't even want to push, left, right, it just in general, just as like all these, it's just like the lowest rung of society with no self-awareness, no, just existing and consuming and being and taking, and it's like, it's a horrible mindset, and maybe I should rethink everything. Maybe abortion's actually a good idea because it's better off for the kid to go than to be stuck with parents like these crazy people. But I don't know. Just my thought today, and the point of this is to just kind of put the thought process in mind of, one, they want to, they don't want us to reproduce. They want to depopulate as it is. So they keep people dumb. They make it hard for people to have children, to support financially and everything else. They make the world a scary place where kids, the people don't even want to bring kids into the world. Then they create a culture that it's cool not to have kids. Then they want to push like it's your right to get rid of your baby at any time. So, we have less kids and give people just the option of, just dismissing it if they did, and again, it's not about that, I'm not trying to say what should or shouldn't be. I'm just saying more so of, do the question I would ask is like, do you even have any concept of what it means to, actually, have a kid, or be pregnant or whatever, and then, decide to terminate the life? I mean, why are you doing it? Is it maybe having the baby will help you stop going out every Friday night and, screwing a bunch of people, like maybe you'll find purpose in your life. Think about if and I'm just going to say, I don't have kids, it never worked out. I was married when I was younger, and my ex-wife at the time did have a few kids. So I was, we were together for a while. So I basically kind of raised those kids for, a number of years. And, so I've participated. I understand, it just never worked out that I had my own. I never sought out to not have my own, and who knows? I mean, even though I'm older, you never know. You know what I mean? Billy Joel, right? Didn't he just have a kid with some like a year or something ago with some 30-year-old? So, you never know. You never know. Somebody might decide, no, I want this this old guy's seed. But the truth is, like, if you have a child, and obviously everybody knows people who have kids. Once you have a child, it's a whole nother thing, right? All your attention goes to that child, and it helps mature the adult as well. So I just think we shouldn't be so dismissive about. I don't think we should look at it as changing underwear. It's not that just to get rid of this, then it's just whatever I feel like today. I think it's a lot deeper than that. And again, I'm going to leave it at this: every situation is its own, and whatever choice a person has to make is fine. It's within whatever, but as long as it's being done from a place of responsibility, really understanding what you're doing, having a space of reverence and gratitude for life and such, and the responsibility that you have to be in this position. And if you got to make that decision, then you make that decision. It just like I say, every situation is its own. But I would like to see in general, people say, instead of fighting over your right to have an abortion, why not just, fight for, really understanding, really treating your body right, us as a society treating each other right, not using each other for, a few minutes of pleasure. And then, if you think about it too, it's pretty rude, right? I just mean, like, somebody goes out, they're selfish, they want to feel good, have a good time, they do. And, now this kid has to be killed, because, you don't feel like it. You were just, I wasn't looking for that. I just wanted to have a good time. You know what I mean? So we have to like really think about how our structure of our thought process is with these type of things. And, you know, ultimately they'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing until nobody's having babies. And then that'll be it. You know, they'll bring out the robots, and, you know, we'll be gone. They'll have a small slice of people that just run and own the whole world. They have their own babies. I'm sure they'll still have babies, just not the everyday people, right? So anyway, just stuff to think about here. That's what we do on Operation Status Quo. I'd love to know what you think and your thoughts about this. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comments and let me know. Don't forget, you're welcome here as well. If you have something you'd like to share or topics you'd like me to discuss, please let me know. Reach out. All my contact information is in the description box below. So anyway, I hope you found that information somewhat valuable, somewhat interesting. You know, it just is what it is. Don't get all pissed at me because I'm trying to say, because I know how some people are. They'll just hear, you know, one portion of it and say that, you know, I'm trying to take people's rights away, and I'm anybody do whatever you want to do. You got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It's always your karma. You know what I'm saying? So you got to deal with whatever you put out into the world. And I'm not saying what's right or wrong, good or bad, because again, I've said this 100 times. I'm sorry I keep saying it, but every situation is its own. But we have to come from a space of really understanding what these situations are and having some responsibility, reverence, and, you know, and a deeper just freaking, you know, respect for the life that, you know, God is given us each a life here, you know, and we're here and we're all part of it. And, you know, we should, and just as we should be caring better for God's earth and God's animals, you know, we should be caring better for ourselves as a society and for our young, you know, and really bringing them up so that they can be better than the generations previous, instead of like not having any kids that to teach them new stuff. You know, that's probably one of the reasons I will really leave it at this. That's probably one of the reasons they don't want people to have kids so much, because humanity is rising, and the souls that are coming onto the earth now, you know, as babies and children, you know, are programmed, you know, from the other side at a higher level of consciousness. So, you know, the babies that come out now are going to have more power to do away with this old system as time goes on, because we're moving away from it. So anyway, I don't know. That's it. I'm going to leave it there because I'll just keep rambling. But let me know what you think, as I said, and I appreciate your time, as I always do. I love you guys, people out there, individually as well as a group. You know that. I know you know that. And I tell you God bless you, because I really mean it, and God does bless you. He loves you, even if you don't believe in him. So please like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course those you despise as well. I love each and every one of you individually as well as a group. And until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo disengaged.
Is a boulevard of 10 short blocks.